Hakainde Hichilema.
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 Hakainde Hichilema will be charged with treason for allegedly obstructing President Edgar Lungu's motorcade.
Following the incident, Hichilema was arrested and charged with treason. Treason is a non-bailable offence in Zambia with a minimum jail term of 15 years and a maximum sentence of death.
I, Hakainde Hichilema, having been constitutionally elected to the office of the President of the Republic of Zambia, do swear that I will faithfully and diligently discharge my duties and perform the functions in this high office.
It has taken Zambia's 7th president 15 years, 15 arrests, and 5 contested elections to make it to Zambia's top office. Hakainde Hichilema's story is one of resilience, persistence, and true determination against all odds. But in order to talk about number 7, we need to start with number 1.
We in Zambia are peaceful people. I challenge anyone to say today here that Zambia is a warmongering nation.
I further declare that Zambia is a Christian nation.
We will definitely fight corruption. I hate corruption. We will accept the result. We are a democratic party and we know no other way.
It's for the people of Zambia to be free. We fought for freedom, but if it is the freedom we fought for.
We're now stronger. We will get strongest as we go towards the finishing line.
The year is 1962 in Lusaka, the capital of Northern Rhodesia, a British colony. The people have rallied around one man and his vision to liberate this colony into an independent, self-governing country. This man is Kenneth David Kaunda, and he has just published a book titled Zambia Shall Be Free. Meanwhile, about 200 kilometers from Lusaka, in a thatched house, in a small village called Wengwa, traditional birth attendants help deliver a baby. A baby boy is born, and he is named Hakainde Sami Hichilema. At the time of his birth, Wengwa is a key fundraising resource for the freedom struggle.
Zambia was part of a federation of Rhodesia, the current Zimbabwe, and Nyasaland, Malawi. And so a lot of the resistance came from, we wanted to avoid becoming a white settler country like Rhodesia had become.
African National Congress and UNIP, their leaders decided to sit down and say, let's form a coalition government so that we, the Africans of Northern Rhodesia, form a government so that we take over from the white people.
It is 24th October 1964. Northern Rhodesia is finally independent and is now called Zambia. Kenneth Kaunda becomes the first president of this free nation.
Tears of joy. I ran down my humble eyes. He had done it. God had done it.
At independence, Zambia has less than 100 university graduates, which leads Kaunda to be passionate about educating the nation. Consequently, he institutes an education policy that offers children free education. Pupils are also given free stationery and food. Hakainde is a beneficiary of this free education policy.
When time for school came, I went to school, like many kids in the village, barefoot, and that was the norm. And there was nothing wrong. What mattered was to be in school.
And the 10-year-old Hakainde is firmly planted in the family business as a cattle herder.
And there we learnt responsibility. We learnt accountability. We learnt the art and habit of work. It stems from there.
After primary school in the village, I went to upper primary within Monze, somewhere else.
Grade 5, 6, 7. Then I went to secondary school.
There's something about Hichilema that I noticed even as his teacher. He's one person, even when you are marking his book, his handwriting, his construction of sentences, in composition, would make you go fast.
On a national level, there is a shift in the political system as Kaunda declares Zambia as a one-party state, hindering other political leaders from aspiring for public office.
With other political parties coming to the fore, like the UPP, led by Simon Kapwepa.
Subsequently, in 1973, all political parties, except the ruling United National Independence Party, UNIP, are banned.
I hated politics because of what politics did to my father. Because he decided to form a political party, he was almost killed by a mob. He was looking for an office in Kamwala, and the UNIP mob attacked him, and he was badly beaten.
It was decided also by the UNIP leaders and the founding fathers that all these other political parties that had been dissolved, the members of those political parties would be absorbed into UNIP.
While this shift in the political system is transpiring, Kaunda and the Zambian government are financially aiding the liberation of other African countries.
So there was the issue of internal security, as in, there was sometimes political tension, but there was also the kind of external threat because we're hosting liberation parties from around the region.
Consequently, the Zambian people are left wanting of basic necessities, while the cost of living continues to rise and the country's GDP continues to record a downfall. And Frederick Jacob Titus Chiluba, a young, charismatic union leader, has started to gain prominence and wide support for his stance against the government. As chairman of the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, Chiluba leads the nationwide wildcat strike, which subsequently paralyzes most of Zambia's economy.
During the one-party state era in the Second Republic, the only opposition on the ground was the trade union movement. And being a leader of the trade union movement, he was seen to be the person who was fighting President Kaunda. And therefore, when now he began to speak more like a politician rather than a trade unionist, it was perceived that he was becoming a threat to President Kaunda. And that's where we begin to see him being arrested.
Chiluba is arrested and released in 1982. While Chiluba is being released from custody, 20-year-old Hakainde Hichilema packs his bags and moves to the capital city, Lusaka, where he is set to begin his pursuit for a bachelor's degree in economics and business administration at the University of Zambia.
University came, not because we were special children, not because HH and others were favored, knew somebody in the government then, not at all. The system allowed any child of this country, from any part of this country, who had attained a certain level of qualifications, grades, you would then go to university, if that was your choice. All of this on government bursary, on the sponsorship of the people of Zambia.
With growing pressure from the public, Kaunda lifts the ban on opposition political parties.
I'm glad, therefore, to take this opportunity to say now, those who want to form their small parties are most welcome, provided they know that we want peace in Zambia. This fellow is signing on behalf of 8.5 million Zambians.
The Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, is formed, with Chiluba as their leader.
The democracy movement which you have started is irreversible and unstoppable. Yes. Nobody will stop this.
So MMD really came out of a very diverse group of people. It wasn't like one particular group. It was a platform of all people who were discontent, ranging from the university students to mine workers to business people who felt they had very little space in a state-led economy to do their businesses.
In the same year, Hakainde graduates from the University of Zambia. Just days after his graduation, Hakainde enters the corporate world with his first job at Coopers & Lybrand, Zambia, as an accountant.
The year 1991 concludes on an excited note with a sense of hope for the people of Zambia. The charismatic MMD party candidate, Frederick Chiluba, has won the hearts of the people and emerged victorious in the first democratic election, ending UNIP's 27-year rule.
We are saying farewell to our founding president. Let us say farewell to our president.
This is the nature of multi-party politics. You win some and you lose some elections.
Soon after his election as president, Chiluba declares Zambia a Christian nation.
And therefore, I want to make the following declaration. I declare today that I submit myself as president to the Lordship of Jesus Christ.
Hallelujah.
I likewise submit the government and the entire nation of Zambia to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Amen. I further declare that Zambia is a Christian nation.
Now tell me how you can say, I will not vote for a Tonga. That is a person that is your brother in Christ. So how can you not vote for him? I will not vote for a member because he's not my brother. In politics, no. He is your brother first and foremost, as a Christian.
Subsequently, the Zambian people are encouraged to become entrepreneurs and reduce their levels of unemployment. Citizens are also encouraged to become homeowners.
Nobody is running away from the houses they bought, not one. Not from the mines, not from the council. You know, by UNIP are very surprised. Wherever they are saying, Takamuntwe, why didn't we think of that also?
And Hakainde's diligence within the professional sphere has earned him a promotion to CEO at Coopers & Lybrand, Zambia. Two years pass, and Chiluba wins the 1996 election, therefore beginning his second term as President of Zambia. Hakainde moves to Grand Thornton, Zambia, where he begins to serve as CEO of the organization. In the same year, United Party for National Development, UPND, is formed, and Anderson Mazoka, who has just moved from MMD to UPND, is elected as leader.
When he was forming the UPND, he sent Mr. Matongo and said, no, go and call him, I want to talk with him. I was offered the position of being the chair legal in UPND. I was honored and accepted. But soon thereafter, we had actual convention, and I stood for the position of vice president and managed to get it. Unfortunately, Dr. Muliro didn't manage to come through, and Bob Schinga is the one who managed to get the other vice president slot.
Chiluba bids to stand for a third term and fails. Even MMD members of parliament vote against his bid. The MMD elects Levi Patrick Mwanawasa to take over as party president and candidate for the general election.
But the constitution also was designed in such a way that a president could only be a president for 2 terms of 5 years each.
On 21st July, 18th, 19th, 22nd, and the early morning of 23rd, which is today, August 2001, has decided to nominate Mr. Levi Patrick Mwanawasa, State Council, as its presidential candidate after an open and transparent selection process.
Expect it, and Mr. Chairman, you can rest assured that I've gladly and willingly accepted the challenge.
Upon Mwanawasa's election as party president, Michael Sata defects from the MMD and starts the Patriotic Front, with himself as party president.
When Frederick Chiluba decided that he was going to bring our colleague, and me, I said, no, there is no way I can work with this man because I know him. This man, he can't govern, he can't rule, he's incapable, he's politically impotent.
I think Michael Sata, already under Kaunda, was able to profile himself as a strong leader. When he was the governor of Lusaka, he always made sure that the media was around him because he was in the limelight. So I think he's had a very long, very deliberate history of being in the limelight and aiming for leadership. I think less so with Mwanawasa.
As the months lead to the election, opposition parties complain about biased media coverage, flawed voter registration, and irregularities with the campaigns. After the elections, it comes as no surprise that the electoral results are disputed by political opposition leaders and both local and international observers. Levi Mwanawasa of the MMD wins the general elections, beating UPND's Anderson Mazoka.
So you could see MMD had lost enormous popularity in those 10 years and gave space to other parties to emerge.
Upon his entrance into the top office, Mwanawasa begins a vicious anti-corruption campaign which dissuades all people in public office from engaging in fraudulent acts that would embezzle the country's resources. Almost immediately, Zambia's consumer price index improves. The cost of goods and services and ultimately the cost of living is at par with the income of the average citizen.
I have not come into politics just to play and to play games of deceit and plundering. I have come into government, into politics, to make a contribution to my nation. Now is a time for us to invest in matters which advance this nation forward.
5 years pass when Hakainde retires from his corporate work and joins the UPND.
He did have maybe a desire in the background to be supportive. I, for example, am somebody who benefited from support from him in Livingston.
March 2006 begins with the formation of a political alliance between the UPND, UNIP, and FTD. The alliance is called United Democratic Alliance, UDA.
It was understood generally that the one who would be the UDA president would be Mr. Convention. I was so tired that I went home to sleep. And then I get woken up and told that some people want to. I go into my garden and it's filled with people, absolutely filled. Then they told me that we have formed a party, and that party we have formed, we're not asking you, we're telling you that you are going to be the leader.
Sakwiva's defection tremendously affects the UDA, resulting in the decline of the momentum that Mazoka had gained for the alliance. Hakainde stands as UDA's presidential candidate in the 2006 election, and he comes third, winning 25% of the vote, while opposition leader Michael Sata wins 29% and President Mwanawasa wins almost 43% of the vote. This is the first election that Hakainde concedes defeat. Out of 5 elections to come, there's a leadership crisis in the party. UPND, under the leadership of Hakainde, becomes an independent party. It is June 2008. President Mwanawasa has suffered a stroke in Egypt while attending an African Union summit. He is taken to Paris for treatment, but passes away in August. After the death of President Mwanawasa, the country prepares to go to the polls once more. With anticipation for a by-election, Rupia Bozanibanda, who has been serving as vice president for 2 years, stands as MMD presidential candidate. Furthermore, the by-election date is set in September, just 21 days before the election. 2 independently conducted opinion polls suggest that Sata is likely to win in the election. Election day passes, and vote results begin to be announced. In the initial stages, Sata is leading. However, on the last day of vote results, Banda is declared to be president-elect. When it is announced that Banda has won the election with 40% of the vote, Hakainde and Sata both accuse the MMD of rigging the elections. Hakainde, who wins 20% of the vote, concedes defeat for the second time and begins to concentrate on creating policies that can provide solutions to the country's challenges. Sata, on the other hand, who wins 38% of the vote, is vocal against his loss.
These are fake reports. They were not there in 2006.
Have you spoken to them about these figures then?
I'm giving to you. Go and speak to them. I'm wanting for them. They have run away.
It is campaign period, and there is widespread anticipation for change in government. The UPND launched a campaign strategy dubbed HH 2011 Formula. The ruling MMD continue with their campaign with their party slogan, "The hour has come." However, the PF seem to dominate the campaigns with their slogan, more money in your pockets. It comes as no surprise that Michael Sata wins the election with 43% of the vote. This is due to his popular promise to put more money in people's pockets, develop the country, and bring dignity to Zambia, all in 90 days. His counterparts, Rupiah and Hakainde, win 36% and 18% respectively, coming second and third. This is the third time that Hakainde concedes defeat.
Throughout his term, Sata diligently works towards developing Zambia. Some of his notable projects include the construction of roads, hospitals, and higher learning institutions.
When PF got into power, Sata was already not well. So I think, very quickly we saw the cracks within PF. There was already kind of in the background vying for succession going on. And that made the party becoming less and less effective.
Rumors about the illness of President Sata begin to arise.
They are lying to say that the members of Central Committee and the MP said I'm very sick and need a replacement. But what type of a nation are we which can survive on lies?
And newspapers headline with news about the death of Michael Sata. Vice President Guy Scott, by law, instantly becomes the acting president, while the country goes into 14 days of mourning. 2 weeks have passed since Sata's burial, when the PF hosts a party convention to select a presidential candidate. Among the members vying to succeed Sata are Defense Minister Edgar Lungu, Mulenga Sata, Sata's son, Miles Sampa, Sata's nephew, and even Sata's wife, Dr. Christine Kaseba Sata. Lungu is appointed as PF party leader. Meanwhile, Hakainde partners with Geoffrey Waliamwamba, popularly known as GBM, who is soon appointed as vice president.
When Sata dies, it's like, his legacy is not completely gone. The people still had a feeling that, he hadn't finished his term. It was still kind of PF's term to continue.
Both the UPND and the PF attempt to grip the people's favor through catchy campaign songs and interactive rallies. Elections pass. It is announced that Lungu has won the by-election by a narrow 1.6%. Although he accuses the winning party of foul play during the election, this is the fourth time that Hakainde, this campaign period, records high levels of violence, which forces the Electoral Commission of Zambia to suspend campaigns in Lusaka and Namwala for 10 days.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia then announces that a new 50+1 policy is being introduced. The system dictates that a winning candidate has to earn over 50% of the votes in an election in order to successfully win. The system of a presidential candidate having a running mate is also introduced. This is to avoid the country going into by-elections if a president passes away while serving a term, as occurred in 2008 and 2015.
2016 comes around and the campaign team is essentially the same, given the fact that the election that we did not prevail in had passed just about a year and a few months prior. So it was fresh in our memory, we were energized, we were expectant that following that we could essentially scale up. But nobody could have anticipated certain things that would have happened. And one of them was, I think it was Dununa reverse, right? Which I think was an extraordinary sort of campaign tool that came out of the other side, which really took the scene by storm. Which I think drowned a lot of the positive messages we had. And
I could run up and down. And I managed to get to his residence around 19 hours. He asked me if I could also check with some of our colleagues who would have information. And I called someone who was my source of credible information. He said, the situation is 50-50, These guys could come to arrest the president, or they may not come. The other group was told to knock off, that is from police, those who were opposing the idea of arresting the president.
The sun has set when the Zambia police break into Hakainde's residence. This is after torturing his workers until they finally reveal where he's hiding. The police are here to arrest the country's main opposition leader.
Immediately I moved out of the house. When I got to the car park at the president's residence, I was surrounded by police officers. They tried to break the gate using a Land Cruiser, which had a big booba. When they failed to break the gate, the main gate, some of them started climbing the wall. They managed to get to the car park where I was with Mr. Harova. And I realized that these guys will catch the president just like a small kid. I had to do something. I had my phone on, tried to get hold of the president. I called him, and he covered the phone with a handkerchief so that the light does not show. Otherwise, they were going to notice that I was trying to call someone. Apparently, no one noticed. The phone rang. The president did not pick the phone, and I got so worried. I called again, second time, third time he answered. In a very clear voice, calm voice, I said, Mr. President, I'm surrounded. But I spoke in a very deep tongue so that no one could understand what I was trying to say. The numbers of police officers grew from 100, 200, 300. They still surrounded us. When they realized that now they had the numbers that they wanted, there was a command. They were commanded that they started breaking the president's house. Then they pushed us around. They told us to lie down. They beat us. They beat the hell out of us.
Oh, it's brutal. Brutal, that's what we have. What you see right here is what you get. I wanted to go and see whether my boss is safe.
What is happening? Why are the police surrounding your president? So
I don't know. All I know is that they beat the hell out of me, the police.
Where the president was, I was told that he wanted to come out saying, no, these guys, they'll kill my people. But he was restrained to say, no, they're after you, don't move. And they started now looking for Chakawa. I don't know who told them to say, if you want to catch the president, you must get Chakawa. They looked for me. They asked people to say, who is Chakawa? Where is Chakawa? They got hold of Rashid. They took him out into the bush. They beat him up. Then he said, okay, let me take you to where Chakawa is. They came where we are lying down on the lawn. So these police officers started checking nearly everyone to see if they could find Chakawa. So when they reached where I was lying, Rashid said, there's no Chakawa here. They got another guy by the name of Jed. They took him somewhere in the bush, pushed a barrel in his mouth, say, you know that we can shoot you? He says, yes, you can. Do you know Chakawa? He says, yes, I know him. Can you take us where Chakawa is? They came, they checked. When he reached where I was lying, he says, there's no Chakawa here. Then I realized that that was going to be the end of my life. After saying my prayer, they beat me up. I didn't feel any pain. That was now around 03 in the morning.
What exactly is happening?
Well, they want to arrest my president.
For what?
For nothing, for nothing. They are claiming that he has committed a treasonable offense. That's nonsense.
Tear gas canisters
are thrown into Hakainde's house and directly into the room where he and his asthmatic wife, Mutinta, are hiding. She collapses multiple times and they finally exit the room in surrender. During the process of forcefully breaking in, the police damage parts of Hakainde's home and property, beat up all of his workers, steal money, jewelry, other household items, food, and defecate on Hakainde's bed.
Considering that I'm a lawyer for HH, we are called that the police are at his house, and we prepared to come and represent him according to the constitution of Zambia. But unfortunately, we are blocked by the police, we are tear gassed, and other people have been beaten. He has the right to be represented by a lawyer. He's innocent until proved guilty. He hasn't been proved guilty by a court of law. He's not a fugitive.
Hakainde is arrested. He is charged with attempting to overthrow the government and endangering President Lungu.
We were taken to different police posts. I was at Kawata. And we entered our names in the OB books. That's when they realized that actually Chakawa was there. And they pushed me aside. They say, this one, you search him properly. They researched me.
This is after Hakainde's motorcade allegedly fails to give way to the president's motorcade. Locally, the Zambian government under President Lungu's administration is criticized for harshly arresting Hakainde. Among some of the notable critics are the church mother bodies. The government is further criticized by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo and the Secretary of Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland. They both accuse the government of harshly arresting and convicting Hakainde.
After we were charged with the treason, where we joined the president when he was at Lilai, where we found the president in a cell which was full of fecal matter. Then we were removed from there, taken to a room where they charged us with the treason in the presence of our lawyers. We were given space, and we thought in that cell, you know, the positioning of sleeping, we thought we sleep like the way we sleep normally. We were told, no, the other one faces this side, then the other one faces this side. You just have to cover yourself because your friend next here is purging in a tin. You can imagine sprays. That night was bad. The following day we were moved to an isolation place, which was equally very bad, where we were given a space of 2 meters by 2.5 meters. I was put together with the president there. It was hell, but we endured for 127 days. And when we came out, when the president said we go to South Africa, that's where they detected that I had actually 2 broken ribs.
The day is 16th August 2017, and Hakainde prepares to go to court for his trial. At this point, he has served 4 months of his sentence in the crowded prison cells of Zambia's Mukoveko Maximum Correctional Facility. But hours before the trial begins, all charges against him are suddenly dropped. He is given a nolle prosequi, which is a formal entry by which the state declares that it will no longer prosecute a defendant in a case. Cities in Zambia erupt with celebrations. and the streets in Lusaka are lined with crowds who gather to witness Hakainde's motorcade moving from the prisons to his home. Eventually, Hakainde has become more popular in Zambia after his release from prison. Internationally, he is awarded the Africa Freedom Award in Johannesburg in October 2017. He is also invited to speak at the Chatham House in London, where he addresses the Democratic Alliance Members of Parliament.
This is more important. We are not angry. We are not bitter.
I think it humbled him to a level, to a point where it strengthened his preparedness to take on, to be president. And I think it's a level of empathy that not many leaders get to build up. And I think that speaks to the type of leader he is now.
Arguably, 2017 is a big break for Hakainde. What began as a year with political friction ends as a year filled with triumph.
Yeah, I think, Sata always famously said you have to be arrested to become popular. And the fact that HH was imprisoned, of course, made him a martyr of some kind. I think it also allowed for people to see his human side.
And several opposition parties form an alliance. Their main aim is to dismiss the ruling PF from power. Among the notable party members are Felix Mutati, Kelvin Fuvebwalia, and Shimbakambwili of the NDC. A year after the alliance is formed, GBM is suspended from the UPND. He thereafter rejoins the PF. Shimbakambwili leaves UPND, resigns from his party NDC, and rejoins the PF. 2021 clocks with a hopeful atmosphere for Hakainde. Many Zambians equally sense the hopeful mood. It is February 2021. Hakainde is re-elected as presidential party candidate for the anticipated August general elections. Hakainde elects Mutale Nalumango as his running mate. His counterpart from the PF, President Lungu, elects Professor Nkanduluo as his running mate. Meanwhile, the UPND launched a campaign dubbed Bali Will Fix It, which is a colloquial phrase that is popular among the Zambian youth. The phrase suggests that Hakainde is a man for the people and a problem solver. Time for change. The PF launched their campaigns the way they have done in the past, through the release of catchy songs that feature popular local artists. Allegedly, millions of kwacha are spent on the production of songs like Alebwerelapo and Mazembe. But the Zambian people take to social media, declaring that they will not vote for candidates simply because of snappy songs. It is 50.
As a commission, we would like to announce that we are in support of this recommendation by the technical committee and has since suspended campaign rallies with immediate effect.
The National Assembly is dissolved on 12 May to provide an equal playing field in the ongoing campaign. Now, it is 3rd August when police in Bala block Hakainde and his campaign team from entering the town. The police claim he needs a permit to enter the city.
and liberty. You are the creator of the universe and in control of the changing story of our lives. We've traveled across the length and breadth of our country, Zambia. We've heard the cries of your people. They call your name as they pray for a better future. They call on us to be a vessel of your will. And this call we take with great faith and humility. Though we have faced great challenges